Hello. So today I'm going to be showing you how to install Jellyfin in a Proxmox LXC container, and specifically how to pass through an NVIDIA GPU and use it for hardware transcoding within the VM itself. So this is assuming that you've got an NVIDIA GPU in your Proxmox server, which in my case, if I jump over to the shell here and I run lspci, we can see here that I've got a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 Ti. This is the card that I'm going to be working with, but I believe this should work with pretty much any NVIDIA card. So the first thing that we actually need to do is unfortunately install the NVIDIA drivers onto our host system, so into our actual Proxmox system. So we can do that. You can literally just use the NVIDIA driver website, as much as it kind of sucks to find the specific driver that you want. The really crucial thing is that we have to make sure that we have the same NVIDIA driver installed in the container as the one that we install onto the host system. So it's kind of crucial that if you have, for whatever reason, a driver that's already installed, you might want to uninstall that and make sure that you're installing the correct version, if that's not going to break anything for you. But I'll just copy the download link here, and I think I might already have it, but I'll just try to download this anyway. So yeah, okay, all right. We'll leave this to run. Yeah, I'll just give it a sec. All right, that's done. So we just have to chmod it to be executable. So we do u+x NVIDIA Linux, and this is what is it, 119. There we go, and NVIDIA 119. I believe we just run this, and we'll go through the installer. I believe it will chuck up a couple warnings specifically. Yeah, so you might get this error about not being able to find 32-bit libraries. That's fine. We do want to enable DKMS, so we do want to say yes to that. All right, and we're done. It'll ask if you want to like reload X. We obviously are not running a desktop on the Proxmox server itself, so we can just hit no to that, and we're done. So now we should be able to run NVIDIA SMI, and we can see here our card shows up, and it shows that, well, we're using nothing of it, 0 megabytes, 31 watts. That's good. We should also now be able to see in /dev. We should have NVIDIA 0. We should have a bunch of NVIDIA stuff actually. So we've got NVIDIA 0, all of that. We should also have in dev DRI, we've got card 0 and card 1 now. So that's good. The NVIDIA drivers are installed correctly on our host. So now we just have to go ahead and create our container image and install Jellyfin within that container image. So the important thing is that we want to make sure that this is a privileged container. So we want to uncheck the unprivileged container thingy, and we'll select the Debian 13 standard container. I'll give it 32 gigs and four CPU cores. I'll give it 8 gigs of RAM, and we'll leave the swap as whatever. For here, where are we? Yeah, we'll need that one. So I'll just go ahead and set this. It is C3, yes. /64. Okay. One of the things for Jellyfin specifically, for whatever reason, I guess they kind of stuck in the past, IPv6 is disabled by default out of the box. So even if it's enabled on the host and the host has working IPv6, Jellyfin just ignores that and will just go ahead and disable it for you by default which is, you know, it's 2025, guys. Like, come on. So we do, just for the installation, we do have to set an IPv4 address. So I think the subnet I've configured for this, I've actually forgotten. I think it's 10.162.195. Let's hope that's correct. And it's 24, I believe. 10.162.195.1. Cool. For DNS, we'll just put in Cloudflare because whatever, doesn't really matter. That's actually in the wrong. There we go. And confirm. Finish. So we'll let it create this new VM for us. Alright, so our VM is created. And now for my purposes, for later on, where we actually mount our media library, we're going to go in here, select options, and change the features here. And we're going to allow NFS and fuse. That's just because I'm going to be mounting my media library from my NAS over NFS. So there we go. We will just start this up. All right, so I'm SSH'd into the Jellyfin container, the LXC container here. And we should probably just make sure real quick that IPv4 is working. Okay, that's cool. It looks like it is working fine. So this will do for now, just while we're setting up. And then if we want, we can disable it later, which I'll probably do because there's really not a need for it. So we can literally just copy in the installed Ubuntu.sh script from the Jellyfin install guide. And actually, we don't have those. We can get rid of sudo, but we do need curl. So we just apt install curl. Yes. Apt update. And then we can apt install curl. Yes. All right. Awesome. All right, so that's installed. We can run this again, but we're root, so we can just run it without sudo. And yes, we'll hit enter, and it'll go ahead and install all of the dependencies that we need. Okay, so it looks like Jellyfin is running now, so I'll just open this up in a new tab. And there we go, we have our new Jellyfin instance, so yes, English. I'll just set a test admin account real quick. Don't want to do that. I'm in Australia, thank you. And yes, allow remote connections to the server, and we're done. I'll just log in real quick. Dashboard, go over to networking and just make sure you go enable IPv6. And now we should be able to get there with the IPv6 address. So, 82C37207 when you see it. Lovely. So we just have to restart Jellyfin. That's fine. Hello? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. I don't want to fight this right now. Usually what I do anyway is I just spin up Nginx on the host itself and set up a reverse proxy to localhost so we can have it listen on port 80 and 443 and do SSL in Nginx rather than in Jellyfin itself. Mainly just because I'm more familiar with how to do SSL properly in Nginx, and with Jellyfin, I have no idea if I'm setting things up properly. But that's just my my personal preference. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is install the NVIDIA driver into the, well, we have to pass through the GPU first to the container, and that's going to require some fuckery on the command line. So we have to jump into the shell of our Proxmox host here, our hypervisor, and you're going to cd into etc lxc. Now you will then use your preferred text editor of choice. I think Nano does come with, it does. Use your preferred text editor of choice to edit the file. There will be a configuration file. No, you can't do that. There'll be a configuration file called 7. It'll be the container ID or the VM ID .conf. So in my case, I'm going to edit 7207.conf, and we need to add some lines here. So I'll pop all of this in the description because I am also just going to copy paste this because it's way too much. So first of all, we have to pass through the actual NVIDIA devices. So this is going to depend. If you have more than one GPU, you will have to find out the GPU ID and put it in here. Actually, we should really stop the container first. Okay, good. It kicked me out. Oh, it's, yep, okay. Just, let's do this again. There we go. Right. So, we need to pass through the NVIDIA card. And this will, like I said, depend on if you have more than one GPU. If you run NVIDIA SMI, you can actually see the GPU ID here. So, in my case, I only have a single GPU. So it's just going to be GPU 0. So we're just going to pass GPU 0 through. So it's going to be /dev/NVIDIA 0. That's the GPU we're going to pass through to the container. Next, we have to add these lines, which basically tell Proxmox to let it be a privileged container and allow it to access, you know, the hardware and things like that. So we'll just write that, and we can quit out of that as well. Jump back here, and if we go to options or hardware, do we see it here? Where is it? Resources. Okay, no, maybe not. I'm thinking of VMs. So we'll start this up again, and hopefully this is a success. Client connected. No, wait, no, that's... Okay, there we go. Looks like it started up just fine. So I'll jump back to my shell here. Please. Am I doing this wrong? Okay, I guess I was. And we'll SSH back in. So we should now see in /dev that we have the NVIDIA cards here. So we have NVIDIA 0, UVM-tools, ModeSet, all of that stuff. Let's just... okay, dude, that's loud as hell. Right, so we should also have DRI. Cool. We've got card 0, card 1, render D128, render D129. So now, like I said at the start, we have to download this same driver again. So we'll just wget this, download it into the container this time. So similar thing to before, we're just gonna chmod it U+X NVIDIA. Dude, that is so loud. Oh my god. Alright. So this time we're gonna run the NVIDIA installer, and we're gonna run it with no DKMS. And what this will do is it will basically it will install the driver, but it won't actually install any of the kernel stuff, which we want to continue the installation. Yes. This is fun. Sorry. So the command that we actually want to run is the NVIDIA install script -- no DKMS, so we don't build kernel modules. So we don't install the kernel modules. And then we're also going to say no kernel modules. So we don't want to build any kernel modules. We just want the utils, because if we actually run lsmod, you can actually see that NVIDIA. You can actually see that we already have the NVIDIA drivers here. So they're being passed through from the host system into the container. So now we have our NVIDIA. Once you run that, we can run NVIDIA SMI, and it will get all screwy because I have the terminal font real big. But you can see here that we now have that same NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 inside of our container. So we're almost there. We are almost there. We just need to do a couple more things. So next we have to go ahead and go etc. We have to edit the file at etc apt sources.list.d debian.sources, and we have to add in this non-free firmware component here, which will allow us to install or simulate the install of the libnv cuvid1 and libnvidia encode1 libraries. All right, sweet. So now, okay, so I went to go have a shower while I waited for this to download. I ended up, I went to go take my, you know, the medication that like stops you from going bald, and I accidentally took my ADHD medication. So I am not sleeping. It's already 1 a.m. So yeah, that's great. Anyway, we have Big Buck Bunny on here now. I've never actually watched this, but I know that this is like the one, you know, royalty-free thing that you can show on YouTube, and won't get you like absolutely fucking smited by some fucking studio out there. So I'll just go ahead and add in the test library here, and it should find it relatively quickly, I would hope. All right, cool. It's here now. Sweet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the dashboard and go to playback, transcoding, hardware acceleration, and we're going to change this to NVIDIA NVENC. Now, for now, I'm just going to leave all of this as the default. Leave it as is. We'll hit save. It'll give you this warning about hardware acceleration causing stability issues. Now let's see if it actually does cause stability issues. Alright, so it's playing. Just mute that. And let's see, do we have GPU usage? No. No, we do not. Yeah, it looks like we're probably using the CPU for this one. Alright, so as you can see, I've dropped the quality down to 4 megabit per second, and now it is using the GPU. You can see it here. GPU is at 9% usage. It's actually drawing power now, which means I'm going to have to run the AC in my apartment even more 24/7 now. I already was running it 24/7, even in the winter, but now I might have to get a second AC unit. Dude, my electricity bill is gonna be so good, especially in Sydney where it's like, you know, it's like really hot all the fucking time. This is great. Anyway, we can see now that it is working. GPU acceleration is working. Let's maybe try drop the bit rate down to like that, and it's definitely doing that. We're still using the GPU, which is great. So let me see if I can find something else that's royalty free that is like much higher quality, and we'll try stream that. Something that's like H.265 HEVC. We'll try stream that to my computer here over the web browser. So I have this one here, which is HEVC 8K 60p bilibili1.mp4. My computer doesn't even want to play this. We do have a thumbnail on Jellyfin though, so I guess let's just see what happens. Do we have a GPU usage? We do. I'll see if it starts playing. Oh shit! Oh, it totally is. I mean, not well, but let's try like 15 megabit per second maybe. See if that helps. Alright, it is definitely playing. Are we using the CPU at all? We totally are. But we are still using the GPU. So I wonder what is going on there. Let me see if I can find out. So someone suggested we go into the transcoding settings and enable throttle transcodes. So apparently Jellyfin just kind of like just tries to transcode like the entire whatever content you're trying to watch, like all at once, which can cause high CPU usage. Which, yeah, even though we were seeing like the GPU being used, that kind of makes sense because there is still obviously CPU involved there. So let's try play this one again and see what happens. Okay, we're at 100% again. It's a great sign. Just mute that. Guess we'll just watch it. So I went ahead and installed the Jellyfin media player, and this seems to mostly resolve the issue, apart from the fact that it's stuttering a lot. And I believe that's just due to the fact that in Firefox, it's like trying to transcode, you know, like an 8K video into HEVC. So that's fine. I'm happy with this. Most of my users will be using the Jellyfin client anyway, and those that aren't can suffer, I guess. So I will leave it at this for now, and I guess next time I'll go ahead, set up TLS. We'll set up single sign-on with Authentic. We'll make sure IPv6 is working properly, because I guess in 2025 we're still not supporting modern protocols properly because we feel like it, I guess. And whatever. So yeah, this seems to be working now, which is quite nice. So we'll leave it at this. Dude, this has got a whole IMDb. That's crazy. All right, I'll leave it at this. Pop this video up, and then I'll come back sometime later to do all the rest of the stuff. Thanks, guys. Bye.